I was, wondering if I could do like a modern sort of urban setting redo of The Outsiders. Um, and so that was sort of the original genesis, the original inspiration, which, kind of percolated around pandemic time. And that's the way I was going with it until I started c- coming up with the antagonist, a guy named George Jones. He's the hedge fund fixer. And once I got him involved, it sort of went in a different direction. In Orange County, actually, there was a homeless encampment in we don't really have riverbeds, we have flood channels. And so a lot of the homeless had started camping in the flood channel, and that became an idea that fed into Gone to Ground because a flood channel obviously can get flooded. And I thought, well, I wonder why anybody, with bad intent hasn't thought, well, geez, let's do a dam release and just clearing them out. The bullet train is on and off again all the time in Southern California. And I thought, oh, that might be an interesting plot point to bring the bullet train into, you know, one of the working class immigrant communities. What would happen if somebody wanted to bring the LA terminus of a bullet train into basically a barrio? Karate Kid definitely is that's definitely, is that an 80s? Yeah, it's an 80s movie. Karate Kid is at its core a brotherhood story. Alex is the younger brother. Javier is the older brother, and the book opens up with Javier literally, just watching his younger brother slip into the um, clutches of Denker Street Gang, which doesn't really exist, but it's something I see when I was a high school or a middle school teacher. You watch these kids, they have a term for it. I think it's literally it's called courting, like as in courting, like there's a courtship. You try to basically, you know, win these kids over, the youngsters. The older kids will try to, bring some of the younger kids into whatever gang sets that are big at the time. And um, Alex is not one of those kids. He's been a straight arrow, but he's taken a 180, and all of a sudden, Javier is looking out the window and he's seeing him. He's got on the Raiders gear. He's got one pant leg up, one pant leg down. He's, starting to get, he used to give the cold shoulder to the homies, and now he's, giving them dap and yo and head nod and all that. So Javier's sort of antenna's gone up and he's on high alert. And at home, Alex is giving his mom a lot of disrespect, and things get physical between Alex and Javier. So there's a there's an issue with the older sibling I wanted to explore. A lot of the older siblings and first generation families, they take on a lot. They become surrogate parents and with younger siblings, and um, they're often super responsible, super mature, the older siblings. And Javier, in addition to those things, is also pretty gifted at not just necessarily math, but looking at financial statements. So he has sort of a financial mind, which he applies to his half sister's business. But anyway, the story has lots of threads. And the Alex Javier brotherhood relationship is tested. Alex, I guess I shouldn't give too many spoilers away, but he falls for the street love, and pretty soon he's on the corner um, in the park, the Denker Park, which again doesn't exist. And you know, Alex is headed for headed for trouble, and Javier tries to talk some sense into him, but it doesn't get anywhere. So there's that, and then there's, yeah, the it's George Jones guy who's the other major thread. Lots of hedge fund fixers. He's a little bit of a trope. So you try to give him something interesting. I do have him verbalize some things that go, yeah, okay, he's got a point, even though he's completely evil. he does have some interesting thoughts about, problems that are going on and why does gentrification take so long? And, you know, is there some benefit to communities when people come in and increase real estate values? But no, he's he's just a bad man. Javier is the main character, and he works on his sister's tow truck, and so the tow truck is kind of a neat little device because they're all over the city, and he ends up towing the truck. Jones ends up in a wreck. But he has people running after him, and they're looking to uh, reap some revenge on Jones. He's got a long list of enemies. So he is run off the road. His car is totaled. So Javier has to hook him up in the back of the flatbed. And before he does, he reaches into the car and there's a burner. Okay, it all starts with a burner. He picks up the burner, looks at the text, doesn't make any sense, but it's a strange text. He puts it back. So there's he it's the burner ends up becoming more and more the text and the pictures that are coming across correspond very closely to things that are going on in the neighborhood. And so Javier realizes the burner is used to communicate, crimes basically. And so he realizes um, if I give this guy back his burner, he's going to go on and commit more crimes. So I guess I have a little responsibility here to do something. And so he takes it in. He thinks initially just giving it to the cops, but it turns out that's a road he can't go down because at this point he's an active participant and the Chechens are going to get him. And there's a whole um, Dark Web Bob gets involved. Dark Web Bob is he has a lot of cartilage on his face. That's one of the attributes he has. A lot of cartilage. He has these eyes that swim behind these big glasses like two fish in a fishbowl. But he's able to determine that this burner it uses the old pager networks, the old it's a frequency that's still maintained. And he says, these people are they keep all their Chechens and they do all their business on these old pager networks because you need a federal act of Congress to be able to get a warrant. And so I'm able to go in there and I've ransomed their accounts. And so I'm going to buy you some time and you need to get the hell out of Dodge because they're going to come after you when this thing goes off. And so there's a little ticking clock that goes off. This book is mostly, I wanted to make some kind of homage to the grinders that I always have in my class. They are just like the best this country has, and with all the shade that immigrants are getting, I thought, oh man, someone, they show up, they do the work, no drama. They take care of their family, they work hard, they're doing overnights at Home Depot restocking shelves. They come in and they got to do, schoolwork and they got kids or younger brothers, younger siblings that they got to take care of. So I wanted Javier to come off that way.